Come on, NFL. Come on, NFL. Y'all can't get this right. Y'all can't get this right. Listen, y'all made the board tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboardkeepers. I am your host, the Ref, where I keep you up to score on everything sports, hip-hop, and hot topics. And y'all already know. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. Was it a catch or was it an interception?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboardkeepers. You're around here, we'll keep the seats. We keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboardkeepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Scoreboardkeepers. I am your host, the Ref, where I keep you up to score on everything sports, hip-hop, and hot topics. And y'all already know, man. Listen, let's get this clock rolling because the NFL is on the board tonight. And no pun, but the Ref is on the job. So what is going on here, man? What's a catch and what's not a catch? Like, let's keep it real. Buffalo Bills got robbed. I don't care what nobody say, okay? Buffalo Bills got robbed. Listen, Buffalo made some mistakes. They made some bonehead mistakes. They gave away 10 points prior to halftime just off of just bonehead mistakes. But still, when it comes down to the refs having to make a call, no pun intended, you got to make the right call, man. You got to make the right call. And this call right here on Brandon Cooks, okay? Look, I'm sorry. If you look at this play, right? If you look at this play, just look at it. Just watch it for a second. Just watch it for a second. Just you guys let this. You guys tell me if this is a catch or not. You guys look at it. You guys tell me. Is this a catch? Or is this a interception by Jaquan McMillan? Let me tell y'all something, right? I don't know what for the last decade, a lot of people don't know if a catch is a catch, right? But when I look at this play right here, I see a receiver, right, who clearly sees the ball well before the defensive back sees it, right? This defensive back is not only using his hands inside of the player prior to the ball getting there, he's actually using the ground and his body weight to dislodge the ball from Brandon Cooks. Look, clear possession, right? And if you're not sure about possession, tie always goes to the receiver. It always goes to the offense. So what are we even talking about here? You can't land on a player, use the ground to dislodge the ball, take it from him, and then say it's an interception. No. Look, this guy used the ground and his body to take this ball away, and this is after both players are on the ground. How is this an interception? Look, right here. Even if I'm not sure it damn sure ain't the defensive back who has possession. So they narrowed it down to say, well, Brandon Cooks never had possession. Well, what possession can he have? He can't make a football move. Once he's touched, he's down, correct? Once he's touched, look at this right here. The defensive back don't even know where the ball is. He's just sticking his hands in there. Look at the ref looking, right? Look at this ref back here. How can he see possession when he has his back turned to him? Look at this, right? Right here, look. The ball's not moving. The ball's not moving. The defensive back just has a hand on it. Brandon Cooks has two hands on it right here. Look, and he's going to the ground. He clearly has possession. This is clear possession. What are we even talking about? And then they try to go up top to Gene Stare store. Why are they going upstairs to Gene's territory? This is absolutely insanity. Look at this. Look. Clear. Look. Who has possession? Listen, I'm telling you, they need to protest this. Because this game, look at this. Look at this. Look who clearly has possession right here. You clearly see who has possession. And then it's not until Brandon Cooks hits the ground, but he's down by contact. What are we talking about here? Look at this. Look. This is the only time that the ball comes dislodged. This is crazy. Look at this, guys. Look at this. You guys see this? Look at this right here. This is this is down by contact. This is a defensive back wrestling the ball away from a player that's already down. That's all it is. And guess who helped him? The ground. I thought the ground couldn't cause a fumble because that's what this would be. That's what this is. This came from the contact with the ground and the dislodging of the ball. Look. Look. Clear. Look. Right here, boom. There's control right there. The player's giving up. Look. Down by contact. Down by contact right there. The play is over. The play is over. The play is over. It's been over. The player gave up. He's not, listen, he's not going to make another football move after this. He's down by contact. He's laying on the ground. At this point right here, it's a tie. Where's the ref at to say he doesn't have control? He's cradling the ball. I would have stopped the game and I would have been out of midfield about this. I would have stopped the game. I would have been at midfield. They would have to call New York on me. They would have to call New York on me because this is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. We're scoring this. How many people think it's a catch? I think it's a catch. I think it's a catch. I think it's a catch because one, tie goes to the receiver. Two, he's down by contact. Three, it wasn't until contact with the ground that the ball is even thinking about being dislodged. And at that point, it's not even about possession. It's about whether he fumbled the ball or not. If he would hit the ground and the ball would have came out, this ball came out because it was wrestled away after he was down by contact. Four, the ref that's making a call, we clearly see him behind the offensive player, and we still see him cradling the ball. They didn't see the ball until it came out with the defensive player, Jaquan McMillan. This is robbery. Buffalo Bills got robbed, y'all. Buffalo Bills got robbed. These are the kind of mistakes that make players like Josh Allen cry after the game. You got to make this call. This has to be the right call. Look at this. Look, where? Look, it's a wrestle for the ball. You got to stop letting these defensive backs get away with this. You got to stop. He never even turned around and looked for the ball. How is this an interception when he don't even know where the ball is just because he wrestled it away from the offensive player? This is not an athletic play where he turned around, found the ball, and he had his hands on the ball just like the receiver. No. This ball was in the possession of the receiver. This is a horrible call. And I'm putting the NFL out on Front Street right now that y'all failed. We get to these great games like this and y'all miss. It comes down to the refs, no pun intended, missing calls like this in clutch moments. This is awful. That ball's, it don't even have space to be moving around. How the hell are you going to say you don't have possession? He wasn't bobbling it. At no point do we see this ball bobbling anywhere. At no point does this ball leave the cradle of his belly until the defensive back wrestles it away. Look, this ball's not out anywhere. It's not dislodged. He's jostling for it. Look. And he's still fighting the defensive back for the ball. The defensive back's on top of his damn head. He's not doing anything but trying to dislodge the ball because he was beat. Look at this. He used his whole weight and his body and the ground to dislodge the ball from the player. That's not an interception. That's not an interception. All of this took place after the ball was dead. That's down by contact. You got to be kidding me. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That's awful. That's awful play calling. That's awful play calling. But the ball don't lie. The ball don't lie. That's bad. That's a bad call. Look. Catch, contact. Look. Possession. He was down by contact. Look. Catch, possession, down by contact, and then he wrestles the ball away. That's an awful call. That's an awful call. And it's time somebody called you. Look at this ref in the back. Look. What the hell is he looking at? What is he looking at? Look at the ref. He was looking to see if he was going to throw his flag or pass interference, which that's even debatable. That's even debatable. Look. Look. That's debatable.
But we're going to need you on this one, Gene. Yeah.
Look. Look. Clear possession. Clear possession. Clear. That's clear possession, man. That's clear possession. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what nobody says. The Buffalo Bills got robbed. I want y'all to put a 1 in the comments down below if y'all think the Buffalo Bills got robbed. The refs absolutely, no pun, they missed this call. And that's why it was only right that we call them out on it. This is nonsense. Check it out. Watch this. Let's try this for a second. Let's try this, right? Let's try this. So the rules state this, okay? It says that on Article 3, completed or intercepted pass, a player who makes a catch may advance the ball. A forward pass is complete by the offense or intercepted by the defense in the field of play, at the sideline, or in the end zone if a player who is in bounds. A, secures control of the ball in his hands or arms prior to the ball touching the ground, and B, touches the ground inbounds with both feet or with any part of his body other than his hands, and after A and B have been fulfilled, clearly performs any act common to the game. Extend the ball forward, take an additional step, tuck the ball away, and turn upfield or avoid or ward off an opponent, or he maintains control of the ball long enough to do so. Well, he did. He did. Brandon Cooks did all of these things. Brandon Cooks did all of these things. He caught the ball, put it away, tucked it away, and it wasn't until he made contact with the ground, right, which he was already down by contact, and tie goes to the receiver. So if the ground dislodged the ball, I would understand. But they called this an interception because the ground played a role in the ball becoming dislodged, but it wasn't dislodged until after he was down by contact. He was down by contact 4 or 5 times before this could be considered an interception. This is awful. Let's see. Movement of the ball does not automatically result in loss of control. This is the NFL rule book. Movement of the ball does not automatically result in loss of control. So what the hell were they talking about yesterday? If a player who satisfied A and B but has not satisfied C contacts the ground and loses control of the ball, it is an incomplete pass if the ball hits the ground before he regains control, or if he regains control out of bounds. He never lost control. The ball was jarred from the player, from Jaquan McMillan after he hit the ground. So what are we doing? That means he was down by contact. Why is the ball changing possessions? Why is the ball changing possessions? If he completed A and B, which he clearly did. It wasn't until he hit the ground that this ball even thought about moving. A receiver is considered a player in a defenseless posture. Yes. Listen, this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. A receiver is considered a defenseless player in that posture. He's considered defensive, and that's exactly what he was. This is why I'm telling you that Jaquan McMillan used it by his body and the ground to try to jar the ball loose. I mean, at the best for him, it should have been an incomplete pass to just dislodge it. To say incomplete catch, the incomplete pass. But to say change of possession, a receiver is considered a player in a defenseless posture. And they say, see Rule 12, Section 2, Article 9. That's something totally, we'll get to that later. Throughout the entire process of the catch and until the player is capable of avoiding or warding off the impending contact of an opponent. Yo, this is awful. This is awful. We shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to do all this to say a catch is a catch is a catch. A catch is a catch is a catch. This is awful. This is another rule. Every year it comes down to 1 or 2 rules that ruin good games. And here we are having another one because they got so many rules in here that they can't keep up with just basic football. Number 4, if a pass is caught simultaneously by 2 eligible opponents and both players retain it, the ball belongs to the passers. Do y'all see this? Look. Right here. Number 4, if a pass is caught simultaneously by 2 eligible opponents and both players retain it, the ball belongs to the passers. So guess what? Jaquan McMillan was on his head, on the ground. Both players were down. He didn't advance the ball. He didn't advance the ball. Both players were down. So did they rule that Jaquan McMillan was an interception and down by contact? Yo, this is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. It says, if a pass is caught simultaneously by two eligible opponents and both players retain it, the ball belongs to the passers. It is not a simultaneous catch if a player gains control first and an opponent subsequently gains joint control. What? So it's not a simultaneous catch. It is not a simultaneous catch if a player gains control first and an opponent subsequently gains joint control. That's exactly what happened here. If the ball is muffed after simultaneously touching by two such players, all players of the passing team become eligible to catch the loose ball. 5, if a player who is in control of the ball is held up and carried out of bounds by an opponent before both feet or any part of his body other than his hands touch the ground in bounds, it is a completed or incompleted pass. It is not necessary for the players to maintain control of the ball when he lands out of bounds. If any part of the foot hit out of bounds during the normal continuous motion of taking a step, heel, toe, or toe heel, then the foot is out of a player is in bounds. If he drags his foot, or if there is a delay between the heel toe or the toe heel touching the ground. This is crazy, y'all. Watch this, y'all. The incomplete pass. An incomplete pass is a loss of down and the ball returns to the previous spot. Any forward pass, legal or illegal, is incomplete and the ball is dead immediately if the process of the catch in 8-1-3 is not completed, the ball goes out of bounds, or a player is the first to touch a pass after having been out of bounds, but prior to reestablishing himself in bounds with both feet or any body part other than his hands. There is not a foul for illegal touching. Listen, let me tell you something. This is all the craziness and nonsense about what's a catch and what's not a catch. Clearly, you see right here in 4 that even if this pass was simultaneously caught by Jaquan McMillan and Brandon Cooks, tie goes to the catcher. It goes to the passers. Period. If Brandon Cooks, which we saw clearly he had control of the ball, right? We see clearly that he has control of the ball. I mean, it's not even in question. It's not even in question that it wasn't until the ground came into play. It wasn't until the ground came into play that this was even in question. That it was even in question. What do you have here? Let's look. Let's watch it. There's the catch. He's securing the ball. It's in his pocket, and then the ground comes into play. Let's watch it one more time. Boom. Look, the defender has no clue where the ball is. He didn't even turn around looking for it. He has his hands up. Brandon Cooks has 2 hands on the ball. 2. And guess what? Watch this. Watch his movements after he has the ball. Look, he has it, right? Watch 1 foot. He got both hands on the ball right now. Both. This is possession. Look, he got it. He's tucking it away, right? And the defender knows it. He knows he's beat. He's just reaching it. This is just a defender trying his best to dislodge the ball at this point. Boom. Look. Clear. Look at that. Clear possession. It's not until the ball's not dislodged until after he makes contact with the ground. Brandon Cooks actually gives himself up. Boom. Right here. Look. The whole entire left shin is about to touch the ground and knee. Look. Boom. Right there. The play is dead. The play is dead. He has the ball. Look. He's going to do a complete roll. Look, shoulder, everything's hitting the ground. Right now, Brandon Cooks has possession of the ball and he's down. Or it's a tie. And we already know that right here, a tie goes to the passers. Look, Brandon Cooks is on the ground. This guy's just reaching for the ball. Look. Boom. Now all he does is fall on him. How can you tell if the ball's moving in here? It's not. This guy rolls on his back. Look, he's just falling on Brandon Cooks. Look. Brandon Cooks is down. I mean, how more down can you be? And look, it's the ground that's dislodging the ball and his weight. Look. This is not no interception, y'all. It's not an interception. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, that's good. Look, the ref had to get in here and score this thing. And we say absolutely the NFL once again got it wrong. It's a damn shame. This is a damn shame. This is highway robbery. Shame on the NFL for this, for missing this call. This is horrible. We got too many cameras out here, and it's funny that they didn't go back and take a look at this play and send it to New York and take 2 or 3 looks at this play in slow motion. How do we have a better angle today than it seemed like they did yesterday? I mean, we're not even really capping for the Bills over here, but we got to call a spade a spade. This is an awful call. This was the game right here. This was awful. Ladies and gentlemen, man, look, congratulations to the Denver Broncos. It came at a price because y'all did lose Bo Nix in the process. But look, things happen. You know, a win is a win. But damn it, like, you can't be missing calls like this. This was absolutely a horrible call. So I would like everybody to get down below, comment what you guys think. Put a 1 if you guys think that this was a catch. Put a 2 if you think it was an interception. Because this is a catching down by contact all day long over here on the Scoreboard Keepers. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, the Ref. I thank y'all for joining me, man. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thumb up the video and get down below and chastise these refs, man. Let them know. If not, thank them if you're the Denver Broncos, because it was a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, until the next episode of the Scoreboard Keepers, I am your host, the Ref. God bless and score. Peace. It was a damn catch and down by contact, and the Buffalo Bills got robbed.